Hi guys, so I am going to first start off by showing you my project presentation, and then I will be answering the discussion board questions just to make sure that I address everything that is needed. So here we go. I'm gonna share my screen. All right, and I'm going to start. There we go. So I created what I'm calling the grid game. And the things that are included are different size pom-poms. There's smaller ones and larger ones. Different sized grids. There's medium, small. There's small filled in and a large one. And then there are the palm grid keys right here that I made 24 of. And then there are tweezers and tongs. So as far as different sizes, there is the small fill-in grid, and you can have the resident use small palms to fill the size in. The small empty grid, and you can have the resident use small or medium. So here's the small palms and the medium. Then there's a medium empty grid where you can have the resident use any size palm to fill in. And then the large empty grid where you can have the resident use any size palm to fill in as well, but the large ones are in this, so it's probably what you'd want to use. And then you can have the resident use their fingers, tongs, or the tweezers to grade the activity up or down, depending on their needs and what they need to work on. So here's a picture with my fingers, the tongs, and the tweezers. As far as grading goes, you can grade it up or down to make it harder or easier. To grade it up or make it harder, you would use the tongs or the tweezers, the smaller grids, the empty grids, the smaller palms, or you could place the palms and grid farther away from the resident. And then to grade it down or make it easier, you could have them use their fingers, use the bigger grids, use the filled in grid, use the bigger palms, or place the grid or palm closer. So the different types of residents that can use it or like benefit from it include those who have stroke, dementia, cerebral palsy, multiple sclerosis, or just anyone who needs to work on bilateral upper extremity function. And I only listed these because these are relevant to my fieldwork location. So if you're wondering, oh, you should include this, you should have included this, that's why. And so what it works on and helps residents improve are their fine motor skills, their bilateral upper extremity reaching skills, arm strengthening, coordination, tactile sensory stimulation, cognition for the different colors, crossing midline, and pincer grasp. How it relates to my current level of education, just me going into and becoming an entry-level OTA, it is something that I would be able to use with my residents, and it has all the things that I learned about in school, which I just listed right here. Overall, it just helps residents regain function in their upper extremities so that they can live their lives as independently as possible after their therapy is done. Thank you for listening, and okay, I'm gonna stop sharing now. And now I'm going to make sure and answer all of the questions in the discussion board so that everything makes sense. So my clinical right now is at Riverbend Rehab, and it is in Kansas City, Kansas, but it is more the setting is a skilled nursing facility. So there's not too many patients that go in and out. A lot of them are full term, and the second floor is pretty much all the same patients, because it is mainly dementia residents who stay long term or through hospice. So some examples of the types of clients that I am seeing include those with all different kinds of dementia, or schizophrenia, Alzheimer's, stuff like that. And then on the first floor includes quite a few patients who are there at the skilled nursing facility for wounds or strokes, especially. Um, yeah. What is my in-service presentation project? So just like I mentioned before, it's called the Grid Game. I didn't really know what to name it, but it is for upper extremity reaching and functionality. What inspired me to choose this in-service project and how did my CI help me? So my CI at the beginning, when I asked her if she had any ideas or specific things she wanted me to do a project over, she said that I could choose anything that I wanted, and she told me about how she had done her in-service project for her fieldwork over one of the residents that just inspired her, and how her CI gave her freedom to just choose what she wanted to do, and it helped her feel better about what she had created. And so she let me do that, and I got inspired by one of our stroke residents, and he was able to use a lot of the activities that we have already in the gym, but it seemed like they were always just a little bit too hard or a little bit too easy, and you could grade them up or down, but um they just didn't work as well for his cognitive ability, because after his stroke he lost a lot of that, so along with upper extremity functioning. So that's where my inspiration came from. And next I need to describe what my project entailed. Sorry. I'm trying to make sure that I cover everything. So my project was the PowerPoint that I just showed you, and I presented it in front of all of the therapy staff who was there today at work, or at my field work, and I went through the project and gave them the handouts, which was just copies of the presentation, and I added in things about specific residents and how it could help them, and I showed them with the actual physical thing, not just going through the screens. So I think I didn't use any other methods to show except for physically doing it in front of them and using my presentation. The feedback that I received from the other therapists, speech, OT, and PT, was great. They were excited to have a new activity to use with residents in the gym, and they thought that it was very smart, and for how it applied to that specific resident, they were excited to use it in the future. Overall, I was satisfied with what I had done. I probably could improve it by um adding more levels of difficulty to it, because it is pretty self-explanatory, but I am very proud of how it turned out. It looks very professional, I think, and with how it's all laminated and there's multiple different grids and options, I feel like it was very organized and self-explanatory, and something that they would actually use in their day-to-day work with residents. So overall, I feel really good about it. I believe I covered everything, and I hope you guys have a great rest of your level 1 fieldwork, or level 2 fieldwork rotation 1.